Hello, we are live now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We'd like to know where you're connecting from, your name, so that you can be recognized. Thank you for joining this evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Want to welcome our guests and also welcome those joining us for the first time and those are frequent watchers. Welcome. And today, presently, before I just start the show or in my introduction, I want to just go in to say what the show is all about before I bring in, before the speaker starts. Hi, you're welcome to Making a Difference with Sandra Ukoh. I believe there's a giant in you waiting to be discovered in a nest. And you have within you right now all that you need to become that change, that change agent that you're called to be and the best version of you that God made you to be. So it is time to ignite you and discover your greater potential and to see the possibilities that exist within you to help you maximize your potential through this unique platform for mentoring, training, teaching, coaching, and how people can become their best versions. At Making a Difference with Sandra Ukoh live show, we leverage the power of storytelling, coaching, mentorship, and value creation to help bring about the best in them, in people, in order to be able to create a word of difference. These shows requires us to assess our value system and the process of recreation of a good value system to help shape our thoughts through the guests that shares their story. Just like today, we have a guest. We shape our thought by the guests that we bring that share their story and we learn from them. We actually glean from them. So this process opens our eyes to new strategies, information, valuable perspective that will help us define and refine our value system with more clarity on our why. We need to know our why. Why are we here? Why have you been sent here? Why has God left you here after being a child of God? We need to understand why we are here. And just before I bring in our guest today, I just want to go introducing myself. My name is Sandra Ukoh. I'm a Maxwell Leadership Certified Team Member. I'm also an author, a Toastmaster, and an author of the book Can Anything Hold You Back? And presently today we have our guest. Her name is Haseena Shaheed-Jackson. She's our guest for today. And before I go into our discussion, I just want to read about Mrs. Haseena is a certified coach, speaker, and trainer under the Maxwell Leadership Team. She is an author of Created to Soar, Messages from the Spirit and Reflections from Within. Jackson's mission is to help people see the new eyes using the power of thinking. You can make the invisible visible and possible. Have faith to believe in the power of your thinking that would identify the actions that you must take to keep moving forward. Jackson is the owner of Faith, Hope, and Spirit LLC, which offers training, coaching, and speaking in the areas of growth, development, leadership, influence for over 30 years. She has held positions in leadership and management for a variety of companies and organizations where her responsibility included mentoring, coaching, development, and training. Jackson is an executive contributor to Brains magazine. She actively seeks to form partnership with others to make a difference in the world and be impactful. See not your see not with your physical eyes, but see using hope, faith, and spirit to press you forward, being bold, confident, and impactful. Visit our website at www.hsjackson.com. See with your spirit eyes. That's what she means. And that's a great one. And today, she's here on our show. And the next person voice you'll be hearing is Jackson. Haseena Jackson. You're welcome. Great to have you this evening, ma'am. I'm so
Thank
excited
you
to
so
have
much.
you.
Thank you so much for letting me join you on your platform today, Sandra. I'm excited to be here and I'm welcoming this opportunity to just talk about how we can help others to grow and just be stronger in their faith and in their spirit and just keep pressing forward because there's things that happen all around us in this world that will pull you down, but you have to just lean in and believe and have faith and have hope and just keep seeing what you have in your mind and it will become visible. Just believe it.
Yes, sure. Sure, welcome. And I appreciate honoring our invitation. And just before we go into our discussion, is there anything I didn't read from your bio that you'd like to share? I know you're doing something on Live and Lead. Is
But
there
yes, I
anything?
have me and I have a partner, John Hackett, and I are doing a growth experience called Live to Lead. So we had our first session on last Friday. It was at just Messiah Lutheran Church. And so the next one will be this coming November 12th via Zoom. And then I'll have another one in January. So all the events are on my website under hsjackson.com, and just toggle over to events and you can register. So the speakers are Eric Thomas, you have John Maxwell, you have Dr. Tim Elmore, Patrick Lencioni, and Deborah Corns, and they're all speaking about how we can become better and what we need to do to equip ourselves to just keep pressing forward, believing in that strength that's within you, and becoming the person that you can become, and being the leader that you need to be, because you are a leader no matter what you do in this life.
Yeah, this is our website. Should you want to visit it, www.hsjackson.com. You might want to go there to register and join our next episode so you can learn from her. And today's show, we just go straight into our discussion of today. Thank you for honoring the invitation. I want to thank our viewers too who are online. Thank you for also staying put and following us. And you are the reason why we're here. One of the reasons why you come online to show is either you want to impact people, and there are people you're impacting already. So I want to thank you for staying. And today we'll just go in straight to our topic, our discussion. I want to find out from you, what informed you in going to college? One of the reasons I ask this question, because we have so many things that are distracting our youth this day. And you find that some of them are already making money whilst in school, high school, and they just feel that, what's the essence of going to college? Is there any need? So basically, and that's the reason I try to let them know that going to college or going to any form of training, which doesn't have to be college. Some might have to go to college, some might have to go learn some other things, all the trade, and just get skilled, personal development. But I also want to let them know that there is that area of learning and getting people to mentor you, to hold your hands, and for you to be accountable. I want to know. I want you to discuss with us. Tell us what informed you to go into school, and have you used the opportunity of going to a school or to a college? Has it impacted you? And what would you tell your world? And what's the importance?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, and I forgot to state that I'm working on my fourth book. The first, my fourth book, which will be out in 2023, and it actually talks about this subject on how you must continue to grow and use the power of more. And if it wasn't for my mentor back in when I was in grammar school and then high school, Miss Jane Davis, I would not be the person that I am today, because I looked around in my environment and I was following my brother and sister, and I just had the follow me syndrome. And I was told to just go to school, get a trade, and graduate, and that was it. That was my ceiling, because I didn't know that there was a bigger world than that. And it's nothing against my parents, but it's just that they came from the South, and they were leaving behind the segregation and racism, and so that's what they taught us: just be hardworking and dedicated. And so my gym teacher actually showed me more, because I would go home with a little piece of paper in my hand, and because I wasn't challenged in high school, I was just I didn't have a hard time with the classes at all. And she says, no, you're more than that. And because of her, she showed me that I could be more than that, and she pushed me to get in honors classes. I was graduated to be senior class president. I went to college because of her. And I'm not saying everybody has to go to college, but you have to not place a ceiling on how high you can go, because you stop growing. And I would not have grown any if it was not for her, who she was very instrumental in my life, because she showed me a new way, a better way, and that I could become more than what my environment dictated, and that I could do the things that I saw others doing, because I just thought it was so pretty, women in their business suits and getting in their fancy cars and those things. And I said, wow, I mean, those are not things that I would ever have, because I was thinking that the only thing I could do was get a trade, and that was the end of how high I would soar in my life.
Awesome. And that is so great. Finding out why you're here and knowing what you are called to do. That's awesome. And having someone, because there's a book, there are three things that make you who you are: the
Mm.
people you hang around, the books you read, and the environment where you grow. I'm glad you had someone who was able to lift that ceiling over you, because you had already put a ceiling on yourself, but you got somebody who believed so much in you, who was able
Yes.
to see much in you. She was able to see. So I like to encourage our youth wherever you are, get plugged in into a system where you get challenged, a system where you have somebody talk you over, trying to bring out the best in you. Because if you're in an environment, a negative environment, this affects you and this brings you down. It brings your low self-esteem. You don't see anything good about yourself. But having the right person, just like she said, she got a teacher in a school, in a high school, who saw that she could do much more, who propelled her, who challenged her, and she was able to keep going. So get in, plug in somewhere, plug into a system where you can grow and become a better version of yourself. That's the only reason, because otherwise, if you're not challenged, life becomes boring. Life
Hmm.
becomes boring. It's like, is this all that is to life? Just to work, make money, look fancy, wear nice dresses? You got bored. You get that means you're empty. But if you have a lot in you, you have every day you are living to, wanting to do something new for God, wanting to do something new for the people around you, wanting to impact the people around you. You become a blessing, and you become a blessing too.
Yeah, and one thing that you mentioned there, Sandra, which was so vital, is their circle. Your
Yeah,
circle is your key, and you have to be willing to change your circle in life, because if you stick with the same people and you are the smartest person in that circle, then you are limiting yourself. So you must put in other people in that circle, like Sandra said, that challenge you, that make you become the best version of yourself. And life and success is not about amassing wealth and things.
not
Success
at
is how
all.
impactful
You
and
are.
great that you become, and how you help your community and what you do to give back. And that's what we need to look at, is how that's what success means to me. It's not about money.
Yeah, just the same way you said it. Well, being wealthy is not how much you have in your bank account. It's how much you have been able to give out to people. It's not
Hmm.
about what you amass. It's not about this things you're doing right, but how much are you affecting your neighborhood? How much are you affecting your community? Who are the
Yes.
people you're sponsoring? Who are the people you're motivating, mentoring to help bring the best versions in them? So that's
Yes.
how, yeah, and that's success. And like John Maxwell rightly said, he said you often would like to put failure and success together. For this, keep you resilient, because it's not everything you'll be successful. It's not everything things will go the way you
Hmm.
want them to go. Things sometimes turn around to be bad, but when they get bad, what do you do? And so much of depends on how much you have on your inside. If you're empty during those low moments, you would be so depressed. But if you have so much you're living for, you aspire for more, more of God, more of becoming the best version of yourself. I want to thank you so much for that answer. And I also want to go further. What have you been doing ever since you went to school? Have you been going with your passion or what you studied in school? I am trying to drive it to a session that people must know that God has given everyone a passion. God has given everyone a gift. God has not made anyone empty. We all have something in us that makes us unique and different. I am different from you. You are different from me. There is something
Hmm.
in us that God has put, and we need to get to the level where we harness all that God has put in us. Because I have a story that says the grave is the richest place where you have a lot of knowledge, ideas that people never bet. So, what have you been doing
Well,
with your?
I always had a passion. It was funny. I always had a passion for reading. And so when I was in school, I would get a book and I would read it in 2 days. I was
Oh,
just enthralled with reading and writing. Those were the two things that was just my driving passion. And today that's why I'm a writer, because I just love to be able to inspire and motivate people the same way that I was inspired and motivated when I was coming up. Those books helped me to dream, and to see more and to think about becoming more. And so today I read books. I mean, I'm reading, John Maxwell. I like the 15 Laws of Growth. I'm reading about
okay.
the six working geniuses right now with Patrick Lencioni, because you need to work in your genius. You need to be in that sweet spot. I mean, I read multiple books because I just want to continue adding value to myself. I love, you know, the Outwitting the Devil. That's my one of my favorite ones. I just started reading by Napoleon Hill, and I'm reading it with my women's group too, because we have to not allow the negativity of our mind to hold us back, because it's so easy for that inner voice, that soundtrack, to go, you don't need to do that, or don't become any better. Instead, you need to have that driving purpose, and that driving purpose in me is to help people see more, and help you see more by my writing, my training, and my coaching. And I do those things because that is my passion. And I was going and floundering through life because I was always restless. I mean, I used to tell my sister all the time, I'm getting bored. And she would look at me, oh boy, here we go. Because as soon as you say you're getting bored, something is about to happen. And something did happen. Either I got fired or I quit a job because I was just always so restless. And so I found out that really my true passion is to read, write, and help and speak to people. I love connecting. So those things are really what drives me every day. And I get up in the morning enthusiastic. And like John said, do what you will do for free. And that's what I do. I mean, I do it because I love it, and it's not about the money. It's about being able to really make an impact, and that's how I feel I can make an impact.
That's true. Because when you do things you really would do without money, you would do it with all your energy. You'll be so impactful. Beyond the money is the passion. There's something in you that is propelling you, pushing you to go further. Like it is said, the law of awareness in the 15
Mhm.
invaluable laws. He said, if you don't know yourself, you don't grow yourself. So you must know yourself to be able to grow yourself. So, and that's one law every one of us should embrace. You've got to know yourself in order to be able to grow yourself. Any person who wants to grow but doesn't know himself is in many ways like, you're working like a man wandering. You don't
Well,
have
you're
a
drifting.
direction.
Well, you're drifting. You're drifting if you don't know yourself. Correct.
Yeah, because you're everywhere. You're
you just
everywhere
like
because
you just like to say, just like just to fluttering along, you know.
yeah, like the pendulum. The pendulum goes pro and pro, pro and pro, pro and pro, and it moves to the direction where there is more impact. So
Right.
once there is more impact, it moves. So we need to know what direction, what have you been called to do? What's your skill? What's your talent? What are you passionate about?
Hmm.
Like Said Asna rightly said, she said she's passionate about helping people, bringing the best in people, making people and letting them see the best of their life. If you
Hmm.
don't see it, you don't have it. And that's why there are three gates in your life: the ear gates, the mouth gate, and the eye gates. What do you allow into you? What do you allow into you? What resources are coming into you? A lot of
Right.
us, sometimes you find people watch films, series of film, all day not reading. And it is said that if you want to hide anything from anyone, write them in a book. The book is the best place to get anything, the richest of
Hmm.
ideas, everything that someone could ever heard and share to anyone in the world is in the book. Like she
Hmm.
rightly said, she writes book, I write books because I read a lot of books because I get a lot of great nuggets and
Hmm.
nuggets you will normally would not get watching a TV or watching a series. You get them in books. So you must create time to read. Some people, your busy schedule might not allow you to read. You can get an audio book. You can
Yeah.
get a software that will help you read, such that when you're driving, it's reading into you. But it's not as impactful as when you open the book to read. But at least you were doing something. And whilst doing it over time, it is said that no one starts a thing doing it best the first time. You could start and not getting it right. But as time goes on, as you keep doing it every day, you get good. And that's why the compounding effect comes in. What you do over time, you get good at it.
Hmm.
You understand? You get good at doing. So there is a necessity and a requirement in life to get doing whatever you find yourself doing. What's your passion? What do you love to do? What has God put in you? Keep doing it. And as you keep doing it, you get better by the day. You get better by the day. And it is said, if you look at the weather before sowing a seed, you will never go out to sow because there is no best time to doing anything in life. You just have to jump into the stream and you get good at the swim to the
You
other
know,
side of it.
it's like if you think about it, it's this story that I heard that really impacted me and it made me go, wow. It was a man who was in prison, and he was in there because he had taken the wrong path and gone down the wrong road. And the inmate told him, you have four choices while you're in here. Four choices. So think about a pot of boiling water. And in the boiling water, you're gonna have you have a boiling egg or carrot. I'm sorry, three things, and coffee. So what happens when you put the egg in the water? The inside gets hardened because at first it was soft. And what happens? We put the carrot in the water. The carrot becomes soft. But when you put coffee in water, the coffee does not change the water. The coffee changes the water. It makes the water a different color. So what we have to seek to be is that coffee in the world where we're stirring it up. We're stirring it up and we're making those changes and we're being impactful and we're making a difference. So that's what I want people to understand. It's up to you. When I love what Barack Obama says. We're always looking for someone else when the someone else is you.
Yeah.
There's no need to look anywhere else. You are the person that you seek. So I love when you said John Maxwell, I love the law of the mirror. You look in that mirror and you see you, right?
Yeah.
Not what someone else sees or what they say to you, but you see you.
Yeah.
And follow that you see and you believe in that you.
Thank you. That's a great word. And that's it. You must be able to take the new thing you have learned. And that's why it says, take what you've learned today. Build upon what you've learned yesterday to keep growing. That's the only way you can grow. You learned something today. You learned something in the past. Bring them together. Build on what you've learned yesterday. Build on it today and keep going. It's if you keep building, you will build a skyscraper. But if you keep learning and disregarding it and throwing them off, you will keep starting afresh every day. You will never amount to anything. But if you build on what you learned yesterday, you can build a skyscraper. You can continue to add more value to yourself. And that's why I said talk about the compounding effect. What you do
Mhm.
today and you add value to others, you keep having value every day. You get better. And someone was like, oh my God, I knew her 10 years ago, but she's just changed all of a sudden. But because such a person has been building and has kept on building and has kept on building on the previous and keep mounting. And that's what happened with a foundation. A
Mhm.
foundation takes a lot of times to put. When you want to get a house done, the foundation is where everything is done. Everything, the piling, everything is done to ensure that the foundation is strong enough to carry whatever building, whatever structure you want to put in there. So you need to have a very great foundation so that whatever
Mhm.
you're building on top of it does not come crumbling. Because if you build a very sturdy foundation and you put a skyscraper, something very big, it is just a matter of time it will come crumbling. So your foundation, whatever you're learning, build on it. Keep
Mhm.
learning. And as you keep learning, you keep building. You keep adding value to yourself. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for that. That was a
Well,
great one.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and like I think about the power of five, which we learned from John too. What are five things you need to do every day? And you might not do them with the same effort, but the point is that you touch on those five things. And what is your five things that you need to do? Because, like you're saying, Sandra, consistency is what keeps moving you forward. Those small
Yeah.
steps that you keep taking every day.
Yeah, what is those five things? I'm writing down so that those joining us can at least speak something from it. I have a question for you. I think before the end of the class to the discussion, you probably would I would share with you. So what is those five things?
My
Five things
five things,
you must do every day.
my five things is that I must take a walk because that is my time that I go out and talk with God. So I'm committed to that. I get into my quiet place and I find that inner peace and that joy because that's what you need to equip you and enable you to make it through the trials and storms that you'll face throughout the day. The other thing is I write because I'm a big writer. You write every day. I write something every day. I have a weekly blog that I send out every Wednesday. So people are welcome to sign up when you go to my website, hsjackson.com. You can sign up for the weekly nugget. I also connect. I love to connect with people because I think it's so important that we take that time out to get to know others and I communicate. And the other thing is, I take time to reflect upon my day. What did I do well? What can I do better the next day? Because those things will help me continue pressing forward in the right direction. Because if you don't take time to evaluate your progress and where you are and where you need to go, then you'll just continue to drift along like we just said before because you'll have no direction.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. And that brings me to relationship. I tell people with all you do, with all the knowledge and all the fame, If you do not have a good relationship, if you do not have great relationship, you'll be miserable. As you know already, relationships are the ships we ride on to destiny.
Mm-hmm.
God would not come then to give you anything. He would send a man. And so the devil will not come to destroy you. He will also send a man. So you need people. You need people in your life. And who are the people you hang around? Who are those 5 people? Who are those people that speak into you? So I want to ask,
Ooh.
what are your relationships? Who are the people in your circle who have helped you to be the best version? Who has helped you to becoming yourself, Haseena Jackson? Who has helped you to, achieving, supporting you in your dream? Who are those
Mm.
people?
It's funny you say, well, I mean, God is first and foremost in my life.
Yeah,
And so I'm so thankful. The next would be my husband. He is my partner, and he
yeah.
probably is listening to us today. He's always pushing me forward, and I love, like, he'll say some things to me, and then he'll make me go, huh? you know, it'd be like hit me upside the head. Dang. So people be thinking I'm the one that's the inspiration in the household. It's him. He's the one that keep me in line.
You
So,
know,
and then I have my sisters. I mean, I have a couple of different sisters. I have Loretta, that's my sister in Christ, as well as Rebecca. And then I have my pastor, Pastor Thornton, at church. So I have those people, and Gloria Tisdale, Sister Gloria Tisdale. I mean, all of those people are in my circle, and I continue to expand my circle because they're people that I had when I was, younger, but some of them have passed away. And I was just talking to one of my sisters, actually, my college roommate. We've been together now 20 some
oh,
years. We
awesome.
don't get to talk as much. Her name is Renisa, but she is always there. We always will trade a text message here and there, and we just lift each other up. So my circle is more than 5 people, because it's not like I have 20 or 25 people, but I have people that I go to that I know that inspire me. But the ones that I see every day would be God and my husband. Those are the two that are always in my corner no matter what, because without either one of them, I know I would not be the person that I am today.
Sure. We need the God factor. We need God in everything we do. After having God, your spouse, who is the closest to you, who can you call? Who would call you and say, sit down here, let me tell you what you're doing right or what you're doing wrong? You need someone that would hold you accountable. Someone who would ask you, what have you done today? What are you doing? Where do you think you're going? We need these people because sometimes they tend to tell us the truth. You want
Mm-hmm.
the truth to be told to you as much as you want people to cheer you up. You want people who will tell you the truth. You understand? You need these people who will not psych you, people who will not praise you for the things they want to get from you, people who will tell you the truth that you're doing well or you are not. The truth is always bitter, but you need to take it with a stride, with maturity. Because when
Yes.
people give you feedbacks, they're actually helping you to bring out the best in you, for you to go back to yourself, your drawing board, and put things right. So,
Mm-hmm.
but if people tell you all the good things you want to hear and you're doing badly, you would never improve. And that's
Yes.
why it says failure. Failure takes you back to the drawing board more than success. If you have too much of success and there's no failure, if you're not careful, you'll be prideful. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you learn more when you fail. And so that's why, like I told you, John Maxwell likely said, put both of them together, for they keep you resilient. So when you fail, you strive, you try to get back to the drawing board, find out what made you fail, and keep moving. Like Madam Leader will likely tell you, whatever you're doing, but by all means, keep moving. If you want to fly, yes. If you want to run, whatever you want to work, but by all means, keep doing something. Don't stay there. Don't,
Mm-hmm.
remain at the status quo. Find out what you
Mm-hmm.
can do. Find out what your passion is. Find out why you're here. Because if you do not, you'll be empty and you'll be depressed. And that's what causes depression. I want to also find out, I think, with this question now, when you were low, when you had a low season, when you were depressed, when you felt, oh my God, the world is crumbling around me, when things were not going the way you planned, what
Mm-hmm.
did you do? How did you get over it? One of the reasons I'm asking this question, at this side, on this side of the word, you find out that when things are not going well with people, they want to end their life. They want to stop everything. That it's good I end my life and just know it's ended. But most of us that have Christ in us, we have God in us. We have the vacuum filled. When things are not going right, we know who to turn to ask for help. But I want to just you to tell me, what have you done, to come up from your low season into an high season. And when you had an high season, what did you do to keep going on?
Now, Sandra, I have to ask you, because a lot of these things are in my book. Have you been reading? Did you get a copy of draft of my book or something? I'm going to have to ask, because, it's not out yet. It won't be out till next year, but I'm going to have to look and see. I might have some spyware on my computer over here. I'm going to have to check it out when I hang up from you.
No, not at all. No, you know I also I'm also a book
So
writer.
all these things
I have
you
a book
ask
I'm
me.
launching soon. No, but these are all the things you need in life because there are low seasons. What do you do when you're low? Because you need to help yourself. You are your first cheerleader. You don't expect people to come out of the blue and say, "Oh, I'm cheering you." But if no one cheers you, who cheers you? You've got to cheer yourself. You are the
Right,
first person who sees value in yourself. If you don't
right.
see value in yourself, somebody else will not see value. You understand? So
Well,
that's the reason.
and I'm be like John now. I'm only gonna give you a snippet because you got to buy my book next season. Now you got to buy my book in
Right?
2020.
Okay.
I'm just gonna give you a snippet of this one. But the lowest point in my life was when my brother actually committed suicide.
Wow.
So I understand what it means to lose a loved one, and a loved one that takes his life because he does not see the greatness that's within him. So
Mm.
at that low point in my life, I went through a storm, but what got me out of my storm was God. I
Mm.
found my relationship with God got stronger, and He helped me reading His Word every day, and I'm committed to that. I read His Word every day, and I meditate on it. It's like Psalms 1 says, "The man who meditates on Your Word day and night will be like a tree that's planted by a
Planted by the
stream,
river.
and
And
whatever you do shall prosper." Right. So the
sure.
thing, so the thing about it is that I believe that everything in my life, if I just read His Word, can help me get through. And you stand on His Word, and that, like right now, I am going through a little storm now too. But my husband is the one. Like I said, he kicks me in my butt, and he says, "What did God's Word say?" So then I go back to God's Word. So that's what keeps me
Yeah.
going. And then I pray, and I get quiet, and I ask Him to speak to me, and I ask Him to help me see the way that He sees, not as I see it. Because
Sure.
everything that happens in your life, there is a lesson behind it, and there's a reason behind it, because God is the one in control, not me.
That's a beautiful one. Getting to be quiet, not just reading is God's word. Reading God's word can just be on the logos level, where you just see the words and that's it. But meditating is the strongest of all. Taking
Mhm.
the word you see, the logos, and chewing it, reading it to yourself, affirming it, speaking it, believing it. Those words become so powerful and so potent because we have a lot of people reading the Bible, but it's not making any meaning to them. But when
Mhm.
you read the word of God and you take time to meditate, like you rightly said, shutting yourself down, keeping all the noise and distraction away from you is the greatest thing you can do for yourself. After a long day, I am learning too. I'm on the learning curve to say I am restless too. I'm always doing one thing or the other. My husband will tell me every time I call you, you're either having something playing in the background, you're either listening to one message or the other. So when do you have a quiet time? And I'm like, those are it keeps me going. I'm learning something from somebody preaching, I'm worshiping God, I am doing something. But I have to tell myself the truth that I have to make time to shut everything and just keep quiet and ask God, check my day. What have I done? What am
Mhm.
I doing that is right? What do I need to change? How do I improve? Who have I impacted
Mhm.
today? Those quiet moments are so fantastic. I told my husband recently that I'm going to take 1 week for vacation. I just want to be alone. I want to think, I want to plan my year, 2023. So it's a time
Mhm.
for us to go back to our drawing board. How
Mhm.
has this year been for you? What are your goals? Like you rightly said the other time, evaluating. I said goals have gone beyond being smart goals to smarter goals. Smarter in the sense that ER was added. You need to go back to the drawing board, go back to your goals, evaluate them, and revise them if you have to. Yes, you plan to, build or buy 6 houses. Things could have changed over time. So you go back to reevaluate your goals, then
Mhm.
revise it to suit the present state of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Because things change. We're evolving, we're changing. And so, as we're changing, your goals cannot be stagnant. They need to evolve like you evolve because things change. And when they change, what do? You could have decided that I want to read 4 books in a year, but you find out that you've read 2 of the books in 1 month, meaning you have enough time to go back to read more books.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go back to revisit your goals and add maybe 6 more books. And it's okay, I'm going to be reading 10 in this year for 1 year because you already read 2 books in 1 month. This shows that you're going to have a long year not having anything to read.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say your goals must be evaluated. Go back and evaluate your goals. What are your goals? What have you achieved in the last 10 months? You have 2 more months to go. It is said, better is the end of a thing than the beginning. And the Bible says, God crowns our year with goodness. You can still make it. The year can still end up in a great and a grand style for you. So don't give up that, oh, October is almost over. Like I rightly said, we must go back to our drawing board. What are we doing? How are we doing it? Are we doing it the right way? What do we need to do better in the year 2023? This is what I mean by evaluating your goals and
Mm-hmm.
revising them and
Mm-hmm.
having goals for everything that has to do with your life. Goals,
Mm-hmm.
spiritual goals, financial goals, educational goal, marital goal, children goals. Where do you want to spend your vacation? How often do you want to have time with your kids? How often do you want to have time with your spouse? How often do you want to network with your friends? You must have
Yes.
goals for everything. For you
Yes.
to be an holistical person, a 360-degree personality. You want to grow on all sides. You don't want to grow only academically or career-wise, while others suffer. You want to grow as a 360-degree personality. So you need
Mm-hmm.
to look at all areas of your life holistically. I want us to take 1 or 2 minutes break, and we'll be back, and then we will talk about businesses and questions that people are asking. I have one question from Tanshia Jackson. Maybe it's your husband. I don't know.
No,
It's,
that's a girlfriend. My husband's name is David.
so, and just a quick break, 1 minute, to show my book trailer.
Have you got a copy of this book, Can Anything Hold You Back? Subtitle, Making a Difference? You need to go get it now. We are called not to fit into the pattern of the world, but to stand out. These can only be achieved by being self-aware. This book is available now on Amazon.com and Jumaya.com as an ebook as well as a print book. It is also available for purchase on www.sandraukoh.com.
Hey, welcome back after
Hello.
a short break. Thank you so much. It's been very stirring moments with you, Asna, and that's a great one. I'm enjoying every minute with you and the
Same here.
answers you
Same
give.
here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I said same here. I'm enjoying this
Okay.
too. So we said, do we have a question, huh?
Yeah, I think he says, what would you tell the younger version of yourself? What can you share with someone who is trying to arm down their purpose?
If I could, the younger version of myself, I would say believe in more because that's what I had to understand. And then don't lose sight of more. And when I say more, believe in being more, doing more, seeing more. The sky is your limit. Don't let anyone or your environment dictate to you what you can or cannot do. Because I love what Eric Thomas says. You want success as much as you want to breathe. And you know, breathing is essential for your life. So do not allow the bends in the road, because the bends in the road only become a dead end if you don't make a turn. So keep turning, keep soaring, because there's no there's no limit on how high you can go. Because I remember at Live to Lead, there was a man there. He was 93 years old,
Wow.
in the first seat, front row, taking notes. So people think that I can't go any higher or I can't grow anymore. Don't ever place that limit on yourself like I was going
Wow.
to. If it had not been for Miss Davis, my first mentor in my entire life, I would not be the person that I am today. So you have to believe in more, and do not lose sight of that more.
Awesome. Awesome. Do not lose sight of more. And that's why I rightly said it all the time, that God is input in each and every one of us. God is not partial. Everything God created is beautiful. He put something in you, put something in me. He put
Mhm.
something in everyone He created. And that's why I said you need to discover yourself. Find out your strengths. Discover yourself. The moment you discover yourself, then you can keep growing. When you're failing to discover or know yourself, you can grow. You can add value to others if you're not adding value to yourself. It starts
Yeah.
within you.
Yeah.
Loving yourself first before loving others. If you don't love yourself, you can love others because you're
Mhm.
empty. You don't have the love of God in you. So the moment you have God in your inside, you have the love of God in you, you're able to extend it to others. So that's why I said you must see value in yourself in order to be able to add value to the people who come around you. In order for you to be able to mentor the younger generation, you must see value.
Mhm.
And that's the key to life. The moment you're able to discover, know who you are, know the reason why you are here, you'll be able to fulfill purpose. You'll be able to harness all the potentials and giftings God has put in you. And you will ride like the eagle. You will soar higher like the eagle. But failing to
Mhm.
do that, discovering your purpose, you will keep moving in a circle. Like I rightly said, I said the pendulum goes to and fro, whatever direction he has a greater impact. The great where the greater impact is where you would move to. And you know, the Spirit of God speaks in a very still voice. But when the devil wants to speak to you, he speaks loud and clear, making convincing you to make sure you're ready to go his way. And God is not there to compete. He's spoken to you once, he will give you a break. We have a choice to make. God is giving each and every one of us a choice to make. He won't force us to be like him. He won't force us to, come to church. He won't force us to do anything. He has given you that choice to make. So you make the choice. Your choice either make you or they mar you. So find out what you're doing right now that is not taking you to your destination where God has prepared for you. And it's not too late to retrace yourself. It's never too late. Like she rightly said, she said the 93-year-old man sitting in front of the class and taking notes. You will be wondering, what would a 93-year-old man be doing? Why would he be doing all this? He's closer to his grave, but he still saw greatness in himself. He's taking notes, putting things down, meaning he's looking at he's seeing the world as a place for him to, keep striving.
Mhm.
And as such a man, when you aspire to be great, he could live for over 100 years
Mhm.
because he's still learning. He's opened himself to learning. Some people will tell you, what am I learning? Where do I want to use it for? Or where do I want to take it to? But he did not limit himself. So our limit starts from ourselves. And that's why everything, it says, everything rises and falls with a leader. We are all called to be leaders in our different faces. We might not have a pulpit to preach, but
That's right.
everywhere God has put you is your
Mhm.
pulpit, is where God wants you to begin to show forth God's glory so that all this can come to him. So let's, chair ourselves. Let's discover ourselves. It is not too late. You might want to reach out to Asna to help you if this is your first time, or reach out to me. Or if you want to reach out to her, you can get to her through our website, or earlier said, or you reach out to me that you want to reach her. Life is not about competition. It's all of us coming together to synergize. When we come together, we can put our powers together, our energies together, and we will do more for God. But when we try to see ourselves as competitor, and that's where a lot of things happen, we don't achieve and we don't get to our best, the eyes of levels that God has prepared for us. So let's see ourselves as collaborators, synergizers, coming together to see how can I help Hasna to become better at what she does, and asking
Mhm.
herself, how can I help Sandra to get to do our live show better? than what she does? Who can I refer to her who has great stories? Life is all about us coming together to be, helping ourselves. And life
Mhm.
becomes pleasurable and a pleasant place to live when we
Mhm.
all are making a difference in our world. When we all, I'm looking at Asina's back and making sure she's doing well. She's checking up on me and seeing that, oh, I hope you're doing great. And, be your sister or brother's keeper. We all can be, be the best. But whilst, we ride on people to get better, we learn from people, we glean from people. And that's why this show, Making a Difference with Sandra Ukoh, I try to bring people with great minds, people who have great stories to tell us their story. We learn our story makes us unique. We are different. No two people have the same story. Even identical twins, they have different story and they have different fingerprints. So we are all different. So when we come to learn and glean from others, we learn what they are doing best that is making them shine and glow. I want to ask you again, do you have any story you want to tell us? Something that's unique to you? Something you want to share that the audience, as we wrap this session today?
Well, I shared the two stories, but when I look at it, I do have one. I remember when the pandemic hit, COVID-19 2 years ago, and it was me and my husband. We were here at home, and my husband got stricken with the virus, and it
Ooh.
was very devastating to me. And it was so funny. I was here working at home. It's not fun. It's funny what he said to me. It wasn't funny at the time, but he was really, really sick, and he was quarantined in one bedroom, and I was sleeping in the other one. And we would talk to each other on the phone. I was like, "Hey, baby, how you doing?" He's like, "I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay." He's like, "I'm doing okay." Can't barely talk. Can't barely breathe. He doing okay. I said, "Okay. Did you call the doctor?" This was one day. He said, "Yeah, I called the doctor." I said, "Well, and what did he say?" He said, "I need to go to the hospital." I said, "And you didn't call to tell me this?" "Well, no, I'll wait till you get off from work." I jumped up. Didn't I said, "Ain't nobody worried about no work. We worried
Ah,
about you living." And so I was going to call an ambulance, and I said, "Well, let's call the ambulance." "No, no, no. I'm going to walk. I'm going to get up out of here, and I'm going to go to the hospital. I'm going to walk on my own 2 feet." That was the longest walk I've ever seen him take from the bedroom
oh
to the.
my God.
So I was like, I'm sitting here paranoid. I'm like, he told me, I gotta change my clothes. I said, "Ain't no changing your clothes. You're gonna go just like you are. Here's a jacket with your pajamas on, and put them shoes on right there, and let's get out this door." So we driving down the street, and he said, "You gonna run that man over?" I said, "That man should see my flashing lights are on, and that I have an emergency. He need to get out my way." So I pulled up to the hospital, and he went in. And I came back home because they wouldn't let you go in with them. And I sat here in my house and I looked around and I went, wow,
Hmm.
now I see how others have been feeling for this time that we've been shut in. They're alone. But then I had to learn that I wasn't alone. I have God.
Sure.
So I leaned into God, and he got us through. I mean, my husband was in the hospital for a couple of weeks. It was really hard because we didn't know if he was going to make it or not. And so I'm praying and fasting and talking to God. And so God one night spoke to me in a dream. In the dream, it was me and a little boy. And I said, I didn't know who the little boy was, but I found out later as the dream but progressed who the little boy was. We were somewhere visiting on a coast, and there was a tornado coming in. So we couldn't leave. And then there was a tornado coming in another direction too. And then there was another tornado in another direction. So we had 3 tornadoes coming towards us. So I grabbed the little boy and I said, "We're going to pedal on these bikes like in the Wizard of Oz, like Toto. We're going to get out of here. We're going to get out of here. We're going to get out of here." We just ride on the bikes. And all of a sudden I said, "We're not going to make it. The tornado is going to come. We're going to have to jump off these bikes." So I grabbed him and we jumped off the bikes and we went face down on the ground like this. And I just felt the winds just a swirling around me, just a swirling and swirling. And then I got up after the winds were gone, and I grabbed the little boy too. And there was a big crater around us, but the storm never touched us.
Hmm.
It just went around us
Hmm.
once
That's a
ever
great
touched
one.
us. And so I looked over, and the little boy was my husband.
Sure.
God was saying that you're going to get through this storm together.
That's awesome.
He's gonna come home. He's gonna recover. I had to show you this through this storm that you've been going through. Now have faith and believe, because this tornado didn't touch you guys.
Mm.
It was threatening to come towards you, but then I pulled my wings out and I covered you up. So
Sure.
so know that you are going to survive this storm. And so that's why I live my life. And that's what I mean, it's a battle because, like it says, in Mark, God help my unbelief. I have those periods too, just like anybody else. But I remember that tornado and I remember that I was not touched. The storm came past us, but we survived. And so at the end of the day, I know that you can survive any storm as long as you have faith in the one who is able and who can take care of you.
Sure. In all, he said, in the storm, God
Hmm.
is there for you. Like the
Yes.
three Hebrew children,
Yes.
they were ready to give their life. If God doesn't
Yeah.
show up, be it. If He
Right.
doesn't show up, great. And indeed, God honored their faiths. You
Right.
must hold on to God in the
Hmm.
midst of the storm.
Cling to Him.
Cling to
Cling to
Him.
Him. And then no matter what, because it says, and no matter what, you will have peace and joy in Him if you just
Sure.
cling and cleave to Him, because He will pull you through. And know what, and if the outcome is not still what you want it to be, you still will have joy and peace because you'll have Him.
Sure. And that's this will bring me back to my second book. I'll be launching it in a few weeks.
Uh
I'll let
oh.
you
Uh
know.
oh.
Yes. Yeah, because it says challenges the refiner.
Yes.
You go through storm, it brings out the best in you. You come
Yes.
stronger and more beautiful at the other end. You're able to, stand in for others, propel them, encourage them to keep running. It's not God never promised any smooth road. He said, in the midst of it all, I will create a way of escape for you.
Hmm.
You understand? So go through it. Go through it. It brings out your creativity, brings out the best in you. I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for making a time. What an awesome session. I'm just looking at the time and I'm like, I wish you could stay more, but we have to go. The other things we need to attend to. Thank you so much for honoring us and, coming to
And we'll
speak to
get back
us.
together because I'm going to release a 6 capsule, not like yours. I'm not dedicated like you, but I will have for the launch of my book next year. I will have some podcasts and I'll bring Sandra back in. I'm going to return the favor. She's going to be on one of mine.
Sure, that I'll be a mother, and I'm willing to do that for you. And that's why I already said, I said we learn from each other, we glean from each other,
We
we
complete
come
each other.
together.
Yeah, we
Yes, we come
complete. We
together and
complete.
we are a stronger force together.
Yes.
You can do it on your own. There are things we can learn from each other. And that's why God made us different. We're all unique in our ways. We've all been called to do different things. So when we come, we strengthen ourselves and we get running. We
Yes.
become formidable, such that nothing breaks us over. I want to
Yes.
thank you, our viewers, for watching. They said awesome. I want to give you some of the comments people dropped. Awesome session, awesome Asna. Learned so much from you today. That's from Mr. Emmanuel, my husband.
Okay. Tell him I said thank you.
Yeah, and also one of my friend, my mentor, who mentored me into social media. I was always very, can I do it? His name is Financial Paul. He said, this is
Okay.
an awesome knowledge gathering session.
Oh,
Thank you so much. I want to thank everyone who has joined us on this session. And thank you for making our time. And if this has been a blessing to you, please kindly like, share, hit the notification bell so that you can often get more updates when we come on this show. Thank you so much and do have a blessed day. Until our next episode, do have a blessed evening. Bye.
bye. Thank you so much, Sandra.
Thank you.